Alright, so I decided to record this journal part via video just because of the complexity of it. This will also be useful probably for the team who want to see this wind system because I'll show you how it's implemented and I'll show you some of the quirks as well as I'll show you the technical side if you want to see. So I've got some wind zones just chucked in here. They're pretty simple. It's literally this force zone script with a velocity and a float, a number, and this specifies how long it'll take for the player to reach that velocity once it enters the zone, as well as once it exits, how long it'll take for it to go back to zero. So it lerps up. You'll notice as well that I've got two zones stacked up here because I made the decision, hey, maybe you want to stack some wind zones or something together. It might even be part of a puzzle where you move two wind zones together, maybe at a later stage of development. Anyhow, this will actually combine together with how I've set it up. So we'll hit play and you can see, oh, I've already hit play. But you can see that our player will go in here. I can jump, and I'll go a little bit higher than normal. If I jump here, you can see. However, if I go in the middle, because I'm getting a combination of the both, even though they've got exactly the same settings as far as velocity goes, as you can see down here, that's 5, that's 5. The time is different. You can change that down as well, that won't really matter. You'll notice that this goes a lot higher than this. You can even see me float much slower. Here I've got a zone that instead pushes me left. Obviously you can increase the speed. So you might make it through. Oops, that mean it'll take longer. We might make it move me speed of 10. And now it's a real struggle to run into it, and it'll push me back quite quick. And obviously you can change the speed at which it sends you, the speed at which it lerps up to that full speed. So if I made this take 10 seconds, I think this makes it longer. Yeah, you'll see it's very gradual. I can walk and then eventually, I'll start sliding back. So it'd be really fun to create some wind sections where you got one of these just in the code, just alternating side by side. It'd be quite fun. But anyhow, that's that zone. And then I've got this one here, which is got a lot of velocity, and you can see it launches me up really, really high, which is pretty cool. So yeah, this is the system. I'm quite happy with actually how it's going at the moment. God, what is the time on this one? Why is it launching me so high? Where is even my character now? It's probably fallen off the side of the map. Oh no, he's still got Y velocity. I think something glitched up. I think it somehow managed to go inside the zone because it went so fast. And it managed to create a collision without exiting. It's the first time that's happened to me. But yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know on the front end. You just need the box collider to be set to is trigger. You need, oh come on, let's go back to one of these. You need a box set to is trigger. You need a kinematic rigid body. So that'll make the actual on trigger enters work, and then you just need the force zone script, and then you just specify your values and you'll be good to go, which is awesome. And before we head off, you can see it work that time. But before we head off to the moon, let's check out the code. So I've created the force zone. You can see, well, let's go down here actually. This is the force vel manager. So this actually is now part of the player script. So you can see that where is it? Up here, I think. Yep. So we now got one of these sitting on the player, and this controls this. This is what we talk to right here to get our wind velocity. Also, just do a little check here to make sure the controller, if the player is grounded, and the velocity is not crazy in the Y, we'll just set the velocity to 0. So that just snaps the player to the ground. If you have like a tiny little bit of velocity, it'll make the character just bounce up and down, which is not what we want. So that's what this wind liftoff threshold is, which you can specify as well. But yeah, it just gets the velocity from this when forces at get vel, and get vel is kind of interesting. It's got this. It's got a list of different vels, which are actually lerp vel holder with time, which is essentially one of these bad boys, which I call holder, which these guys just control, which have a velocity and time till. It's exactly what you specify on the component when you go to create one of these. When you go to create one of the wind zones, but it also whacks it into a float to hold, the current time. So between, if it takes 10 seconds, you'd specify 10 seconds on the time till. You now know the current time on that current object inside that list. As well as having those things, it also has a bunch of functions intended to be activated in a coroutine to essentially make that it lerp upwards, so the current time lerp upwards, or the current time tick down. And I've just noticed a bug actually. Hang on, let's quickly patch that. I need to actually clamp the current time. So let me just do this. Current time equals time till. Holders of time till. There we go. Nice little bug patch there. It's probably what sent me off to space. Sweet. So yeah, tick down. Also, it invokes an event. Just saying that it ticked down. So at a later stage, we can go, hey, I want to remove you. I just sub it to this. But yeah, that's essentially how it works. So it has just a bunch of them. And to get the velocity, it just gets the sum of all of them. It's obviously the COSI complicated solution. Very typical of me, but just means that, yeah, here's getvel where it just sums them all up. But it also, it's quite useful because it means that this is quite future-proof. And I think creating code that's future-proof is good. Should probably add more comments so it's more readable for other people. But it's essentially the force zone system. So it's a little bit weird. Oh yeah, also use an interface. So if we created a new object that we want to be able to set forces for, we can just use this interface. Oh yeah, I should mention, yeah. So on collision and exit and enter, it just looks for an object with that interface on it. And then if it does, it'll call add force, and then obviously the player obviously derives from that interface, as you can see here, which means it has that add and remove function just down here, and it adds and removes them from the velocity manager. So there you go. That's the system. That's why I made a video, because it's quite weird. It's literally a combination of delegates, a combination of that's not a delegate, a combination of interfaces, a combination of delegates, because that's subscribed through a delegate, as you can see right here, ticked out. Using a Lambda expression as well, a combination of Lambda expressions, lists, and a bunch of, and a combination of coroutines. So yeah, I think that's why I explained it in a video. Hopefully I didn't rattle on too long. It's just a big system that I figured out just by experimenting. Anyhow, that is the wind Snystem. Yes, I said Snystem with an N. I don't know why.